It's amazing. Just people watching us work on our phones. Do you guys have any plan to reorder Porter Briefcase?
Yes, the answer is yes. We are reordering the Porter Briefcase, and it's a very long lead time. We hope we'll have some first quarter next year.
And which color are you looking for? I guess that's the question, because we do have quite a few colors in stock already. So.
That's true. That's true. What's on, Alan?
What's on, me or you?
You. Stand aside.
Okay, all right. So I'm in my sort of reverse navy blazer, which is the beige blazer and then gray trousers. So everything else is quite standard, right? You got your white shirt, your gray trousers, and your brown shoes. So very standard. I've got an ankle brace on, so I had to wear Darby's. I sprained my ankle playing basketball, so I have an ankle brace for a sprained ankle. So you need Darby's for that. So that's what they call that sort of open lacing system, right? So you can actually pack a lot more sort of volume within it. So yeah, I've got ankle brace on, got my moon stars, are like comfy. So this beige blazer from Orazio Luciano is a very heavy, and this was made maybe 8 years ago. Very, very heavy linen. I think it's probably about 380, 400 grams. So perfect for this sort of fall type weather in Hong Kong anyway. But yeah, so heavy. I think this was actually pulled out of their then furnishing book, right? So nice, nice shade. Goes with my gray trousers and just plain white shirt. This is a super old Capelli tie from Naples. What about you, Mark?
Today I'm wearing an old navy blazer. I've had this for years. It's Ring Jacket's balloon cloth, which is this it's like an open weave cloth that has quite a lot of stretch to it. And this is a 46, and I should be wearing a 48, and it still fits me. So it's a testament to how, I don't know, how easy it is to wear balloon cloth blazers. I like it though. I've had it for years. I can't believe it's kind of survived my wardrobe so long. Because I try to wear new stuff every year, like every season, to represent what's in the store. And after the season ends, a fair amount of it does go to Drop 93 or goes to our colleagues and stuff so that, it can continue to be worn by other people. But the really, really kind of, I guess, like my favorite stuff I'm just going to hang on to. So this one I've had for years now. And then sport chinos. Someone was asking if sport chinos are ever coming back. Sport chinos are coming back. I'm really sorry. They are very delayed. We originally promised July, and then that date has slipped again to September. And we just had a batch ship this week, actually. We had just had a batch ship this week. So they are back in stock this month and next month. I think right now we'll just have the beige, and then the olive is coming, and then the navy is coming after that. Alrighty. Oh, sorry, let me just mute my phone.
Okay. Hi from Chile. Hello from Nilla. Greeting from London. Wow, you guys are up late. Hi from Sydney. Love to see more watch reviews. Mark's got a really interesting watch on today.
My Christian Klings bespoke watch. 3 years in the making. It was a whole saga. I'm actually writing something for Rob Report on it. I just submitted the article yesterday. It was very, very long because it takes a very specific kind of person to go and learn how to make a watch from scratch and then spend the next 50 years of your life doing it. And Christian Klings is one of those gentlemen. He's right at the end of his career. He's actually officially retired now. And so I was lucky to get in just under the line and get a piece from him before he retired. He actually decided he would retire halfway through making my piece, which I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but that's what happened. Now, do you have a watch on today?
Nope. Just a bracelet, so no wrist check for me.
What do you guys think of Barrick 1707?
I'm not familiar with Barrick.
I'm not that familiar with it, to be honest. No, I don't know. Hello to Canada.
San Francisco. Okay, let's do a bit of the fall-winter collection since we're here anyway, right?
Yeah. Let's do it. Let's do it.
All right. So as we were talking about before we got into technical difficulties, this fall-winter collection just dropped maybe a week or two ago. And what we've tried to always do is incorporate some transitional pieces. So because Hong Kong has a relatively long summer, we always still need a lot of lighter garments or very dry, sort of maybe around 11, 12 ounce garments to last us until it actually turns cold, right? So we do have things like this piece here. I mean, the ultimate versatile piece, which is a navy blazer. I mean, it's still unlined. This fabric particularly is from Piacenza, and it's a nice textured navy color. So it's the piece that you can sort of buy and wear whenever, whether it be the weekend, to the office, yeah, anytime.
You know,
really.
actually, before we get too far, like talking about the specific piece in the collection, I think it's kind of interesting to think about, like, we put this collection together right at the start of COVID.
Okay.
So we were already like thinking about, oh man, what the hell are people gonna wear, right?
Yeah.
Because we ordered this cloth in, when did we order this cloth?
a year bit ago. So
Yeah, a year and a bit.
Yeah. So
See,
we
like,
looked at,
oh, go ahead.
we
sorry.
looked at fabric in about July 2019, I guess. Is it? Yeah.
No. It would have been later. It would have been after COVID started.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Because we didn't go to Milano Unica that year. We couldn't have, right?
Yeah. Yes, we did. That was the last Unica we went to.
Oh, so this is cloth from the last Unica?
Yeah, this is the last Unica.
Oh man. Okay, never mind. I was just thinking like, oh, we put this collection together like in the middle of a pandemic, because the subsequent collections we did actually put together in the middle of a pandemic, and so it was always a question of like, are people really going to wear jackets anymore? But now we're kind of on the way. We're coming out of it again, which is cool. All right. Anyway, sorry, I cut you off. That's awesome. What else we got transitionally speaking?
Yeah, so we've got this. I mean, in terms of transitional, this one is not necessarily a transitional piece in that sense, but it's a very light flannel. So it gets you through the warmer months of winter, but it looks like a winter garment with the texture, with the warmth of the fabric. There's a lot of melange to the yarns as well, on top of the milled process that they do to sort of get that fibers up and give it that warm feeling, right?
I noticed like this year, a lot of our olives actually, I don't think necessarily by design, but we end up with a lot of bluish greens. So like the warp, like the base of it is definitely navy, and then on top is overlaid like the different shades of like green and yellow.
Yeah.
See, this is the funny thing, like, because we have a fixed camera for these live streams. Normally when Sam is shooting us, he's on a gimbal and he can come up real close and show this to you, but we kind of have to like wave it in your face a bit like that. Which is maybe slightly less effective, but who knows?
Yeah.
This is less than 300 grams. It's pretty easy to wear, even in the early fall.
Yeah.
And if you don't own an olive jacket already, it's a handy thing to have.
Yep. I mean, on top of that, it's a Laura Piana fabric, so you get that really soft, I guess, fineness of the yarn. So it is a very soft and comfortable garment to wear.
All right, let's answer some questions on chat here. What do you value more on a pair of shoes, last, pattern, or comfort? You know what? For me, comfort. I know it varies from person to person, but for me, it's definitely comfort. I remember years ago, I heard something very insightful from a shoemaker. It was either like Tony Gaziano or this Hungarian guy whose name I've forgotten now. Marcel, there we go, Marcel. And they were like, well, you know, shoes are the only things that you can wear on your body that can actually hurt you. Which is right. Like, you could wear a jacket's not gonna hurt you, right? But if you wear a shoe that's too tight or it's just digging into your foot in the wrong way, like, you're gonna blister, you're gonna bleed. And so for me, I always emphasize comfort on my shoes. Like when we put together the Armoury line of shoes, our loafer last especially is a little bit wider than everything else out there. And then also, you know, a lot of people like the, what we call a channeled sole, where the sole has a channel cut in the edge and then covered up, and it looks like much nicer, basically, if you have a channeled sole. In our case, we actually used an oiled leather sole, and oiled leather sole has a lot more flex to it. So when you're wearing it, it's just that much quicker to break in. It's that much more comfortable, even from the earliest days of wearing it. So for me, comfort. Alan, what about you? Comfort, last, pattern, style?
I mean, obviously it's a balance of all three. You can't wear a pair of shoes that look terrible. So the last is definitely up there, especially when you first see it, right? But definitely when you put it on nowadays, comfort definitely is key to actually buying the item. Yeah, I mean, I don't have too many new shoes actually, because I've gone my sort of stable of shoes and sort of kept with them, and over time it's gone more and more comfortable, right? With the leather sort of aging nicely, and sort of you're always flexing it. So if anything, the leather gets softer and softer as you go and sort of maintain it properly, right?
Yeah, having your shoes like sending them back to the factory to have them resoled, that's such a pleasure. Because you come back with this like shoe that's obviously got a new sole on it, but the upper is so soft, and it has kind of like all the wear marks that you put on it. I love it. It's like the real shoe version of a pair of distressed jeans. Let's see, a couple more questions. I usually wear a size 44 jacket. What do you recommend for 3PB? I would recommend a size small. Typically our size medium fits about a 48 body, and 48 to 46, and then our size small fits about a 46 to a 44. Personally, I like the 3PBs a little bit fuller, so for you I would do a size small, but if you wanted something really trim, then extra small would probably be okay too.
Live stream looking like a posted video. Is this live for real? Yes, but we're going through the questions very slowly, so you have to bear with us.
Is this live? How do we prove this is live for real?
Oh no, here we go. Here's my phone. It says 11:09 a.m.
I guess we also read out this question on the video on the live stream, right?
Exactly.
Let's see what other. Can you show us this season's City Hunter? Do we have him around? Let's see. Wait, see if we can find him. I'll answer another question.
We should.
Oh, MD Fu, hello from NYC. Thank you for coming by the Upper East Side store. And thank you for your comment. I really appreciate it. I'm glad you liked it. Will we be visiting London anytime soon? Much as I would like to, it's a 3-week quarantine if you come back to Hong Kong from anywhere. So at this moment in time, it's really difficult for either me or Alan to just sit in quarantine for 3 weeks, and that makes a lot of things unfeasible. I apologize. How long typically do your shoes last? What's the oldest pair of shoes you have? God, my shoes last for ages.
Partly because we have so many of them.
That's true. We also have a lot. But I mean, I have shoes that I've resold twice, and I usually if I was to resole something, it would probably be like 3 years in between. So I've definitely had shoes for like 8-9 years, that sort of amount of time. Wait, there was a.
I mean, to the point of having many shoes, actually, swapping out your shoes and rotating them is definitely a very important part of maintaining or sort of keeping them lasting longer than they should, right? Especially with the rain. I find that after the rain, when it's slightly wet and you use them the next day, it tends to wear it even faster than it should.
Yeah, in fact, I always use the analogy, like if you had wet tissue paper versus dry tissue paper, you rub a wet tissue paper off a kind of grainy surface and it's just going to disintegrate, whereas a dry tissue paper is going to be a little bit more okay. And so imagine that as your shoe. You've got a damp sole, it's just going to it's going to disintegrate a lot faster.
This is City Hunter. Somebody asked to see the season's City Hunter. We actually have it in 4 different colors. So this is the easiest. This is a navy, almost jersey-like material. This is from, well, actually no, this is from the Burn side, which is the Japanese maker. But we also have an ascot version, which comes in burgundy. It's a beautiful sort of deep.
No. The Burns one is navy, burgundy, and gray.
Yeah.
And this year for the City Hunters from Burns, which is our Japanese factory that does like jersey fabrics, we also did it with contrast stitching just to make it a little different. But then, as Alan was mentioning, we also have a new version that's made by Ascot. And that one is done in woven fabric, so that's done like sport coat type fabric, and that one is in a kind of like honey herringbone deal. It looks good.
Yeah.
We're actually meant to. We just
posted it on the feed last night.
That's right. You just shot it yesterday in the shop.
So that's the City Hunter 2, which is made by Ascot. So that construction is slightly different. We're using a lot of the woolen fabrics for that one, so pay attention to that. Whereas this one, obviously, it's a bit more stretch. We originally constructed it a lot for a lot of travel, weekend use, and mainly a lot of comfort, but retaining a lot of style as well. But yeah, so contrast stitching actually only on the gray one, whereas the burgundy and the navy. Burgundy. Oh yes, burgundy.
Yeah, that's gold stitching.
Oh okay.
I snuck that in there. I didn't tell anybody. I just snuck that in there.
Okay. But here we go.
Let's see what else we got here. what are good colors to wear with that olive jacket? Alan, why don't you grab, all the standards. Like the nice thing about olive jackets is that they're kind of similar to how you would treat navy blazers. So, like khakis, like what I have right now, that's a pretty easy one. And it's actually works well with a lot of different kind of earth tone shades like that. But, Sam, you got a gray trouser over there somewhere? I actually really like olive jackets though with gray trousers. There's just something like quite kind of elegant about the whole thing, like that, right? And then, you can still do a lot with the colors on the accessories and the shirts. It's a hard color to find, but really like gray butcher stripe shirts with olive, I think is really nice. Gray and olive like have a nice synergy with each other. All right, question on that beige taupe DB. How do you pair that with odd trousers? I struggle with wearing a non-suit DB. Alan, how would you do that?
Well, I'm wearing a beige jacket today, so essentially what I'm wearing. I'm wearing the new 3PB, by the way. This is a very so I come back to the beige since I'm wearing the 3PB. But this is an amazing sort of versatile Four Seasons fabric, I would say. Actually, it's more on the lighter side. I wouldn't wear this for true winter because it is a bit light, right? But this kind of fabric, perfect for this sort of cooling down fall, autumn, winter kind of sort of season. A bit lighter. We've lined it with a light fabric as well. It comes in a very textured blue. Now there's actually blacks, light blues, and whites woven throughout. So I don't know what you can see and whether it focuses, but here you go, up close. It's a very rich textured sort of a tone to it. So yeah, quite casual. So actually with what I'm wearing, I find it a bit odd. I would want to wear this with maybe denim or chinos or things like that. Probably look a lot better on Mark.
Which one? This one?
This one, yeah, with the chinos.
Oh, I love that thing. Yeah, what's funny about this 3PB is we lined it. We don't normally line this stuff, but like in the wool fabrics, especially in kind of the lighter weight wool fabrics, for fall winter where you might be wearing a sweater and the sweater's a little sticky, that the lining just helps the jacket like slip over your clothing a little bit better.
Yeah, I think this looks great. With the textured blue, and then it goes really well with the chambray shirt, and then the orange. Is it orange? Orange tie, so it sets it off quite nicely.
Yeah, burnt orange.
But yeah, the chinos work really well in this case.
Nice.
All right, so
tell the DB. Tell the world about the DB.
So, okay, what am I wearing? This should be in your wardrobe, right? White shirt, gray trousers, brown shoes. This is essentially the uniform that we should have. Okay, so beige DB. This fits, right? Yes.
Yeah. I like it, man. Looks good.
Yeah.
Yeah, beige with gray, a lot of people don't think of it, but it is actually a great standard combination to have in your wardrobe. In terms of like what might make a DB easier to wear as a sport coat, typical like sport coat cues, like having the patch pockets, but also having the appropriate button. Like for this one, we used horn buttons, and typically on all of our sport coat stuff, we will use a contrasting button, whereas with a suit, we will always use a matching button.
So the only thing I'd say about this one is that in terms of contrast, I normally pair this maybe with a darker gray, so I get a bit more contrast. The gray I have on today goes with a lighter, sort of creamier sort of beige, whereas this is more of a taupe, which is a bit of gray to it. So with my jacket, which I will put on right now, I'll show you the slight difference. There you go. This is the one that we have this season, whereas mine is obviously a very sort of light, creamy kind of color.
Yeah, that's more of a cream, really, and that's like taupe-ish.
Taupe. Yeah, and that So it gives you a bit more contrast in terms of color, not necessarily like dark and light colors, but in terms of color, you can sort of see where it
Alan, we got a good one here. Patrick McRae asks, if you were commissioning your first bespoke suit, which gray and which navy fabric would you choose? So go on, which gray and which navy fabric would you choose?
Which gray and navy fabric? I'll tell you what.
For your first bespoke suit, though. That's the difference. It's got to be your first bespoke suit. So with no wardrobe, like your very first one.
Well, the first bespoke suit was actually a navy. Well, the first really nice one from WW Chan, and the code from H&S was 339053, or the old code was 335029, if I remember correctly, and that is the navy Crisper.
Oh,
Bespoke.
and we happen to have it on the table. What do you know?
And
that was not planned, by the way. That was absolutely not planned.
It's just a book that we use non-stop. I mean, throughout, from when I first commissioned my first suit, and throughout the Armoury sort of 10, 11 years now, a lot of our fitting garments are made in this exact navy. And the new fabric code is... I don't even know whether they make
someone
the
was
same
asking
one.
about a burgundy. That's actually a pretty good burgundy.
Yeah. So the new code, I don't think they have the exact same shade anymore, but the new code should be 3321053. Holland and Sherry Crisper. What's so good about it, I mean, especially in Hong Kong, is it's a 4 seasons fabric, right? So you can wear it in Hong Kong for the summers. It's a high twist. It's slightly open, so it's breathable, but it's not open enough for it to be purely a summer suit. You can wear in the winter, especially when you're layering with it as well. So yeah, that's my first navy suit. And I get a navy suit over a gray suit because I just like blues a lot more.
I think if I had to pick a kind of ideal first fabric for navies and grays, I'd probably go with the 4-ply. I know it's really boring. I know I talk about it all the time, but really, like, the 4-ply is a great fabric. Every time I wear it, I'm just like, oh, this is so great. Like, it just feels right because it has a decent amount of stretch, so it's very comfortable to wear. It always keeps its crease, which is really nice because, I don't know, like having a pair of trousers with the crease, even cotton chinos with a crease, right? They just look a little bit better when the crease is there, it holds, and it's showing beautifully. And the shades of navy and gray that are available in 4-ply are really good. So if you are interested, the book is the Draper's 4-ply. The Draper's Ascot book, or they're also represented by Harrison's. So it's in like one of the Harrison's books. I think it might be the Fresco 3 book? Is that Harrison's book? I forget. No, Spring Ram's a different thing. Spring Ram's really good too, but Spring Ram's a different thing, and Spring Ram's also very expensive. And then the other book I would really think about for navy and gray suits, the Taylor and Lodge Iconic book. I don't know if I would find a cloth in there that's like suitable all year round because they're quite like winter specific or summer specific, but a lot of the cloths in that book I think are really, really good. So I'm into that. All right, let's go. Dang, what a chat here.
What happened to Foster's and Sons?
Ooh. Is this a hot take? Are we allowed to say this on camera?
Yeah, I think we can talk a bit about Sons. It's kind of nice to have like a bit of industry sort of background.
Okay. So with Foster and Sons, what happened was, they've been a brand for a long time. They used to send their ready-to-wear out to other factories to make, and then through some investment from a big Japanese group, they actually managed to start their own factory. And if you ever got to see like the modern Foster and Sons ready-to-wear shoes from like the last 2-3 years, the quality was super nice. Like it was really, really super, super beautiful shoes. But it's a tough world out there for dress shoes. Like it's a tough world for dress shoes. I don't know if they ever managed to get the commercial traction they needed to keep the thing going. And then COVID hit, and it was just like over.
I think having said that, it was ultimately almost a timing issue, right? Because I think we first saw this collection in October 2019. And then, I think our first collection came in around that time too, like around December.
But they were even around before that, right? I think we saw it once. We just didn't pick it up. I think it came out 2018, maybe. That new factory came online 2018.
Yeah, but I think they were shipping their collections in winter of 2019, right?
Yeah.
And everyone knows what happened in 2020. So, I don't think even if they got a lot of exposure or whatever, ultimately.
But if you guys ever come across some like old stock Bespoke Foster and Sons shoes that were made by them. Grab them; they're really good. We had a bunch on drop 93 because we had to clear the stock out, and I kind of wish I kept a pair for myself. I sold everything, so I couldn't even keep a pair for myself.
Yep.
Let's go down. Can you show an unstructured jacket? Do we have a Model 7 hanging around?
I'm going to show my jacket first. So this is a Naples, made in Naples, Orazio Luciano. This is already quite light, unstructured in the sense that, okay, it's not padded through the shoulders. I love the Neapolitan jackets. When people say full canvas, half canvas, and things like that, I think in an English or traditional way, then you have a lot of fusing involved, right? And when we talk about sort of Neapolitan soft jackets, then a lot of it is taking away a lot of that sort of horsehair cloth canvases and sort of shrinking them to be only used within this chest area to give it that shape, right? And what that does is not that it's half canvassed anymore, but it becomes sort of less canvas. And because it's less canvas in that sense, also it's an unstructured jacket. But this is probably the most structured jacket than that Orazio Luciano or those Neapolitan guys do. So there's no canvassing through the bottom of the jacket. It's really just here to give it the shape through the chest. I can't open this because this is half
they
lined.
closed it.
Yeah, this is closed. But
this one's a good example.
That's a great one. Sure. So this one is even less structured than what I have, meaning through the lapels you don't have any canvassing as well. So typically with the Neapolitan jackets, with the more structured ones, they have the canvassing through the lapels to give it that roll and shape and sort of give it, I guess it stays in place as well, especially through the neck. Now this one, in terms of being unstructured, is basically uncanvassed through the lapels. Now this one is also a hybrid, so not everyone does their construction the same way. Everyone has their own way. This one is actually canvas a little bit lightly through here. So they sort of trim all of the canvas and leave some here so that you can get that clean line throughout the shoulder and also the neck. Now there are also unstructured jackets that are completely sort of take out the canvas and you don't have any here. So what tends to happen there, especially depending on your body shape, is that you can get a sort of unkempt sort of messy look throughout this area, which is not that great, but it's very soft.
Is there a Rocky Mountain feather bed lying around? Sorry, gent named Devin Hurt asked if we have any Rocky Mountain featherbed lying around.
No, we don't.
No, I don't think we do in this store. We were at our other store in Landmark when we were trying to shoot this live stream initially, and then we've come back up here because we have to open the other shop. Will Utama, hello Will, asks difference between a Neapolitan and Florentine jacket. So Alan's got a Neapolitan jacket right now, very soft. Got the spalla camicia here, so that means that there's just a little bit of shirring here at the top of the sleeve. And the handwork is quite pronounced, which is kind of a feature of a lot of Neapolitan jackets. This is a Florentine jacket. This one belongs to a customer. Much cleaner in the shoulder, as you can see. And actually, for me, one of the most important things is if you look at this part of the jacket, in the chest, there's no dart that runs here. So like if you look at Alan's jacket, Alan, you mind coming out for a second? Yep. Look at Alan's jacket, he's got a dart here, and that's what's giving a little bit more shape at the waist. No dart here, so Florentine jackets tend not to be as waisted, but the nice thing is, if you have a pattern, right, like this is a check, and that's why I brought this one out. If you have a pattern, the pattern is unbroken, so these squares will always remain squares, rather than having one kind of rectangular portion somewhere here in the ribs.
All right, we have a question from Alex NW. In the US, when one buys off the website, is that shipped from the New York store or from overseas? Are there import duties and fees? So, you go ahead.
Okay, so for the web store, we typically handle everything out of the US. So if you're in the US, there are no duties and fees. But if we are shipping from the US to Europe, then potentially, yes, there could be duties and fees.
Are you planning on doing an ironing series for trousers and shirts?
Yes, actually, because I haven't told you about this, but so when we first started this business, we were really close, and we still are, very close with a tailor called WW Chan. Al and I were both customers of WW Chan. I used to be a somewhat unofficial intern at WW Chan, and I love those guys. They're great. And we wanted to do some video content with them, and given that they're such skilled and experienced tailors, we thought it'd be great to do a little like clothing maintenance series with them. We actually shot one with Liverana before, and that one's good and really beautiful to look at, but I kind of want to make one that's a little bit more kind of technically detailed as well.
What is a costumey dressy ensemble? So there's a question there that says, what are some dressing tips from avoiding looking too costumey? What is a costumey dressy ensemble? So I'm trying to picture in my head, and when I think of costumey dressy ensembles on the street, it's some of those guys who put on too much, right? They're almost overthinking it, and then they're just incorporating everything that they see. Oh, do I need a pin, collar pin? Do I need a, another pin on my tie? I need a, a chain, and I need a pocket square, and they've just got everything that they can put into one outfit. I mean, that's one, but I mean, in terms of nowadays, especially fitting into the workplace, I think, part of the reason why we've championed a lot of the Neapolitan and softer jackets is also the silhouette and, I guess, the look and feel that you get from having a softer jacket is that it's more approachable. It's a bit warmer. When you look at it, it's not as aggressive as a lot of the more structured jackets out there. So a lot of the jackets and suits that we do and we've been wearing throughout the years have been along that lines of a softer, sort of easier approach suits and jackets and silhouettes. And I think that helps a lot, especially when you're trying to get into, the really aggressive colors like, a full beige suit, or, even when you're wearing like your full green suits and things like that, a softer silhouette definitely helps.
Yeah, I think it's when you get too far from... It's like when you get too far from the norm, right? Like if you were to turn up at work in morning dress with tails and everything, you could probably call that costumey. Whereas like if you show up at work in like a softly structured navy blazer and gray trousers, like it would look kind of elevated and it would look like you took care with your appearance, but I don't think necessarily it would look costumey, right? And like Alan says, if you overdo it, like if you just put too many kind of little details in, it can look like you're trying a little too hard. Yeah. But yeah, like talking about like trying too hard. Like I remember when I first started dressing, I definitely tried too hard. Like, because I just loved this stuff so much. And so I was always like trying to wear everything I could and put on everything I could find, and it was really fun to me, but probably it was maybe even a little annoying for people around me, like my current wife, like my now wife, not my current wife, my now wife. But I think that if you wear your tailor clothing a lot, as in you just really spend serious time in tailored clothing, it kind of just becomes a part of you. And then people look at you and they're like, oh, that guy's always in tailored clothing. That's just his thing. And then it's never costing me anymore. Once people feel like, oh, well, he looks natural. That's his thing. All right, long-winded answer. I apologize.
All right. Florence Wong asks, hi, Mark and Alan. Do Italian mills tend to wash their cloth with chemical for softness more than the English mills? That's an interesting question. Do they tend to wash their cloth more? I don't think so. Yeah, no. I'd say just off the bat, no. It really obviously depends on the mill itself. I mean, in terms of, I think a lot of the sort of more mass mills do have a lot of chemicals involved in their processes. Obviously, when you get to the higher end of things, there's a lot of the ethical sort of points that they really do have to adhere to, and obviously when you're trying to get the softness through a more natural process, it does take a lot more time and effort to do. And obviously that sort of attributes to the cost as well.
I think there's also a little bit of a cultural difference in that Italian mills just like softer cloth too, whereas English mills are more okay with kind of stiffer, harder cloths. So maybe both cloths have actually gone through just as much processing, but the Italian mill's processing is specifically designed to make the cloth feel much softer. And whether you decide that, whether you like that or not, that's really a personal choice, up to you. Okay. Oh, there was a Drake's question above that I wanted to answer real fast. Who asked that? Blah, blah, blah. Dang, there are a lot of questions now. Where'd it go? Okay, well anyway, I can't quite find the question. I apologize to whoever asked it. What is the overlap between Armoury and Drake's? So Drake's, I'm a big shareholder, along with Michael Hill, who's the MD and creative director for Drake's, and then Armoury is me and Alan. In terms of like creative products, there's zero overlap. There's no overlap at all between the two companies. In fact, I guess the only overlap is I happen to be a shareholder in both things. And that is why the Drake's collection looks very, very different from the Armoury's collection. Ah, there it is. It was Wesley Dollar.
Garments, pattern, fabric, stylist.
Maybe zip down a little more. I think we'll pass some of these. Oh no, someone tried to order that dark green window pane and it was sold out. I'm sorry. I can't be held responsible for that. I hope you find a good substitute. If I see something, I will post it on IG or something. It might come back.
RJ Blue Check.
Hi guys, would you ever do some ready-to-wear model that goes more along the lines of Taylor Cade's Model 99, more drape in the chest, lower gorge? You know, I would love to. I really love the Model 99. Yeah, one day we definitely will. Otherwise, you can always buy it as a made-to-measure piece. That's always possible if you are in New York. Two requests: can we see the new RJ Blue check jacket, and can we see the green David tote? Well, I have the great David tote right here. Yeah. So that's the green David tote. It's kind of an olive green, military green, whatever you want to call it. And, you know, when we make the cloth, we actually dye it on request. And so what happens is we end up with a ton of this green cloth. And obviously we can't just have bajillions of green bags. So then we start mixing and matching with other colors. So we have the green, and then we have the green this way. So handles and bottoms are in natural canvas. And then we also have it in this way. So this way is the reverse. So that's how we end up with 3 green David totes all in one season.
All right. How do you access Mozilla Dembeck if you don't go to Hong Kong or Italy? Unfortunately, those are the only 2 ways to access Mozilla Dembeck. And especially during COVID, you only have to go to Italy, or you can only go to Italy, rather.
Yeah, we do miss those guys, but sadly they are just not able to come here in Hong Kong.
Yep. Okay. Let's see. Can you tell me more about your knit tie, William says?
Oh, this is a knit tie that we make with a factory in Italy. It is what's called a 2-ply knit. Was it a 2-ply knit or a 4-ply knit?
Correct, 2-ply.
2-ply knit, right, okay. 2-ply knit, it's just a matter of the weave structure. There's nothing kind of like super different about it. They just set the weaving machine on a different pattern, and that's why I end up with this.
Does it feel more Italian or German? It's definitely more Italian.
More Italian, definitely.
Especially because it is made in Italy. So we've got a lot of Italian ones. I'll show you a few. That's the zigzag knit that we have. This is one of the more normal ones that we have. We've made it a bit wider. This is in a point as well, end. This is a separate texture that we also do from an Italian supplier. It's a variant on what he's wearing, so also a bit softer, but it's more of a grid-like kind of a weave. This one is a cashmere, I think wool cashmere knit, but very soft. Very soft, a lot more texture. I love it for the winter, sort of colder months when you want to add a bit more interest in terms of texture to your outfit. This is more of along the lines of the German ones. These ones are all from Drake's. We have it in the plains, obviously a much more thicker knot when you're doing this up. We have it in the plains in a lot of colors, and we also have the dots. And the dots are quite interesting because each dot is actually woven by hand. So it makes it a bit more expensive, but it's quite interesting that all these dots are actually woven on by hand. But you can see a very big difference between the Italian sort of machine done dots versus these handmade dots. But yeah, it's a lot more sharper. You can see that it's done by hand actually.
Cool. Let's see. if your cotton pants are too tight or trim, this is from Tom Say, if your cotton pants are too tight or trim and you would like to let out some of the area on the leg openings, how do you deal with the fadings on edges and needle signs? Sadly, there's not much you can do about it. If you wash it, the yarn might kind of reset itself a little bit and it would hide those markings a little bit. But unfortunately, once it's done, it's done. That's why, for instance, like when we sell cotton trousers, we really try to tell our customers, we can take this in, but if we let it out, you're going to see the marks. In fact, also someone was asking, how often do you wash stuff?
What do you recommend for frequency of washing stuff, I guess?
Well, shirts every day. We made these sport chinos because we can wash these every day. So I wash my sport chinos, maybe not every time I wear them, but like every 2-3 times I wear them. I mean, that's the benefit of having like machine washable things, right? There's something, for me at least, kind of comforting about knowing that, oh, it's like totally clean. And I like the way that the cotton clothing kind of breaks down a little bit as you wash it. I think that's cool.
Jonas. Is that Jonas Nie?
Oh, it might be.
Hey, Jonas, long time
I hope it is Jonas Nie.
Hey guys, Looking Sharp as always, your favorite fall dress pant fabric, except for flannel. What do you have against flannel? It's amazing. What about gabardine? Fall dress pants. I love flannel, especially all shades of gray flannel are just amazing. There's the two that I like. Obviously, you have the regular flannel, but also worsted flannels tend to last a lot longer and they don't stretch as much because the regular flannel, you have that bagging around the knee that you have to dress a lot through ironing.
Yeah.
But other than flannel, which I guess the question, I love corduroy. Corduroy, same issues with the regular flannel. They tend to bag out through the knees, so you really need to learn how to iron it to keep it looking sharp. And then brush cotton. Brush cotton is really beautiful as well. We use a lot of the Tennyson book here. There's actually more than one book in the Tennyson range, and they have various ranges of brush cotton. So you have stuff which is the regular solid colors, but you also have stuff with a bit of a pattern to it as well, and obviously different sort of weights and things like that to really look out for. What about you, Mark? What's your favorite fall trouser?
4-ply, of course. Other than 4-ply, though, there's one cloth that I'm trying. It's yet to arrive, but Gianluca over at Pomella really swears by it. It is tricotine. So tricotine is a particular structure that is kind of similar to a cavalry twill, and they make it in cotton wool mix. So, like for instance, with cavalry twill trousers, sometimes you find that fabric like a little too shiny, but the tricotine one is actually quite matte. So having that cotton in there just to make it a little bit more matte is very, very helpful. I'm really looking forward to that. And Gianluca says it's one of the best trousers he's made. So check that one out. That one is in the Draper's Three Kings book if you're interested.
Oh, actually, one of the big things that I totally forgot about is the cavalry twill, right? So cavalry twill, covert cloth, that's perfect for the winters as well. I'm wearing cavalry twill, but this is something interesting from, I believe, John Foster's. It's one of their samples, and this is done in
wait, is this what this season's suit is made?
No, it's not. So this is from a while back, and it's done in a very fine Super 160s, 180s cavalry twill.
This is nice. Why didn't we do this for the collection?
It's really expensive.
Oh. All right. Well, I guess that's a decent reason. Actually, if you're interested in other cavalry twill stuff, we have a charcoal cavalry twill suit that I wanted to show on the live stream when it was back when we were still planning it, and that one's really good. Like, it's not shiny, it's really dark, it's lovely. Check it out, it's on the website. All right, let's see.
It was Jonas Nie.
It was John. Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Do you recommend steaming trousers or hand washing them? I know wool should be dry cleaned, but steaming a good alternative.
I've never really seen the whole cleaning, steaming process. But yeah, I mean, if you're gonna wash trousers, I normally just chuck them to the dry cleaners, you know?
Yeah, me too. I don't know if you would be able to actually clean them just by steaming. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't think you'd get stains out if you were to steam it. I don't know, I might be wrong.
Yeah.
Answer. What types of tweets?
Am I the only one who gets nervous every time Mark waves his left wrist around that metal table corner? We need some of those child protection sort of edge corner things for our watches.
I'm really nervous now. Thanks for that comment. I'm very nervous now about this whole issue. Avocado eyes. Ooh. Kate Ivy style suit in Draper's 6-ply taupe gray. Nice choice. I love it. Recommendations for shoe pairing. I would actually love anything in cordovan or grained calf. I think both those would be really, really nice. The 6-ply has quite a lot of texture to it, and just like Cade's stuff always has this kind of robust look to it, so it's nice to have a pair of shoes that can match that. All of them would be a great go-to, for instance. Otherwise, at the Armoury, we also have a brown grain calf Dwayne 2 loafer. That's also very good. How do you go about laundering your dress shirts, and how do you address collar stains? Okay, this one, this is something that I used to talk to my old colleague Richard Carroll about. Richard used to be the manager of the Tribeca store. And Richard was very, very fastidious, surprisingly, because he doesn't seem like a fastidious person, but he was very, very fastidious about keeping his collars clean. And he said every night after he'd taken the shirts off, he would actually brush them. He would have a toothbrush and like the Tide stain remover stuff, and he would scrub the collars before putting it into the washing machine. And that's the only thing he could do to make sure those collars stayed clean. Now, bear in mind, like Richard was in New York and in the summer and on the subway in the summer, and like it gets really gross on your collars. So if you really want to maintain a clean collar, you basically have to scrub it with a toothbrush, something like that, with something like Tide cleaner before you wash it.
Can you recommend any navy hopsack material? Well, if you're looking at the AMJ03, then all our balloons are pretty amazing in terms of hopsacks. So the balloons are a bit, I would say, a bit more robust than a lot of the other hopsacks I've seen out there. It's a slightly different weave, made in Japan, obviously, and we love Japan because, we love to eat Japanese food, so we go there all the time. Well, on top of that, then they're, Mark was talking about fastidious. I mean, they are very, by nature, sort of, attention to detail, quality, and everything. So, I mean, all the hopsacks that we get from the balloon range are amazing.
This one's good, though.
Oh, there you go. This is the mesh blazer.
Almond Cherry 2030 jacketing mesh and hopsack blazers. Comes in a lot of colors. And there's also a Draper's version of this. Also a lot of colors. Yeah, I mean, the interesting one is always the VBC hopsacks. If you're looking especially at Navy, because they have, I think one of the first times we went to the VBC factory, they essentially introduced us to their, the room of blues, and essentially they've been, I guess, researching, thousands and tens of thousands of shades of blue. So, I mean, if you're looking for blue, I'm sure VBC has one for you because they have all the blues, essentially. And on top of that, so the hopsack is, it's very good. I mean, it's a very versatile fabric. We use it a lot in our ring jacket collection. On top of that, I think there's a Eurotex. There's a finer version of that in the Eurotex. I think it's a 2-3 ply kind of version of that, which is quite nice as well. It's a bit lighter and it's a bit drier as well. So there's two to look out for. But yeah. Nice. How long are we doing this for now?
Quite a while, I think.
50 minutes. 50 minutes? Okay, let's try and wrap up in 10 minutes because I'm starting to lose my voice as well.
Oh, go for it.
Oh, go for it.
If you had to pick one winter sport coat, which would be it? If I would say it's a favorite based on look and fit, it would be a probably navy Harris tweed blazer, because I tend to wear that with everything, right? And if it was cold enough, then that'd be probably the one that I pick. But if it was for Hong Kong, then actually the navy Harris tweed blazer would probably not be as practical. So the other thing that I have actually is a very nice lighter, almost baby blue cashmere silk blazer. So that one I can actually wear for winter. It's warm enough, but to a certain extent, I can wear that for the summer as well. So it's just out of versatility. I can use it more often, and I mean, it's a beautiful sort of soft cashmere, luxurious blazer. So what else? What more else would I want?
I'm kind of on the same page as you. Like my favorite winter blazer, and I liked it so much. I even wrote an article about it once upon a time. Was a navy cashmere blazer, and you know, if you live in a place that's cold enough to kind of allow you to wear cashmere regularly, like you get a ton of use out of that because you stay warm. A lot of times you don't even have to go out with an overcoat because it's warm enough, and so even though initially it's a little bit expensive, it very quickly ends up paying for itself. I had Liverano make it when I kind of hit a milestone in the business, and I was really glad I did it. I really miss being able to wear that jacket because it's obviously way too hot when you're in Hong Kong. Opinions on the new Fox jacketing bunch for 30 grams.
Which one is that? I think we have it, right?
We should have it. Is that Fox tweed?
Maybe. Okay.
Have you explored other metropolitan areas to have a store, DC in specific, but anything else? Okay. So once upon a time, before we had the New York store, we actually almost did open in London. I was in London regularly anyway for Drake's work, and so I was like, oh, I could potentially do an Armoury thing here too. And I made a bunch of bids on properties because you know you would try to. This was like 2013, about 2013, and I made a bunch of bids trying to get leases for properties in London. And it was just crazy. I couldn't get anything. Like we were bidding up to even a year's worth of rent to secure a lease. Didn't work out. And then basically through another series of very fortunate events, we ended up with the store in Tribeca. And much as I love the UK, the US is great and New York is really great. And it's been very good to us. And a lot of our online business happens in the US. So probably strategically, it was a better move. We'd have a buyer of Model 3A if we sold long sizes. Oh man. So we have actually wanted to do long sizes in the past because we definitely do have like people who are tall enough to wear them, especially in the US. The problem is that the minimum, we just can't meet the minimums. I'll get into a little bit of like annoying technical buyer stuff for a second. When we deal with our collection, we buy cloth in rolls. So a roll could be anywhere between 50 meters to 80 meters, and sometimes we actually have to buy 2 rolls at a time, right? So it could be, 50 to 200 meters. But then we have to subdivide that between all of our stores and make sure all of our stores have enough sizes. And then we have to subdivide that again to make sure that we actually have the right size ranges for each store. And so if we were to add a long size onto those already subdivided quantities, like we could end up with having insufficient sizes for certain stores, unless we were to buy another roll of cloth, at which point we'd get to a stage where we couldn't actually sell out of it properly, and it would be kind of bad for business. If you would like a long size, we can always do it made to measure, made to order for you, and just come and speak to us. We'd be happy to do so.
Yeah, so the MTO collection is quite easy for us to do because we essentially use the ready-to-wear and just add a few centimeters of length to it, and it's not as simple as, okay, here's the existing block and then we're just going to add cloth to the bottom of it. They actually do tweak a lot of the patterning in terms of buttoning position and also the pocket positioning to accommodate the whole new pattern, right? So it is relatively sophisticated but simple enough to do in a very quick lead time. So if you're looking for a long jacket, that's definitely one of the options to do it. And that way also you can sort of get it, customized to your specific height on top of that, which is a good thing.
Okay.
All right.
Let's do maybe like two last ones. Okay. Two last ones. I saw somewhere above a Japanese viewer asked, how do we match watches with our outfits? How do we match watches with our outfits? I always think of my watches as like, are these dress watches? Are these sporty watches? And then I try to, if I'm wearing like chinos and say a 3PB, I probably won't wear like my really dressy watches. So really dressy would be, I don't know.
I mean, this is a dressy watch.
Yeah, I feel like I have these rules in my head, and yet I never follow the damn rules that I'm coming up with. So you know what? Maybe it's all nonsense. Maybe you just wear whatever you like. I do kind of have a feeling in the morning though, right? Like some mornings I get up and like I want something like very small and discreet, and then other mornings I get up and I'm like, oh, I want something that's a little bit bolder. I also have this weird OCD where if I can, I try to match all the metals. So if I'm wearing, for instance, I have a pair of monk straps with brass buckles, then I would also try and match it with a belt with a brass buckle, and I would try to match it with a gold watch and sometimes even gold glasses. It is funny that I'm mentioning this today because if you're a gamer, Diablo 2 Resurrected is coming out today. And do you remember that tooltip in inventory? It was additional set pieces confer bonuses. So there you go, additional set pieces confer bonuses.
Oh no.
I'm glad we managed to fit that into the last.
I mean, in terms of watches, for me, then I think the thing that stands out the most is really the straps, right? And you know, shameless plug. You know, we also sell a lot of straps.
We do sell a lot of
here in the
straps,
Armoury,
yeah.
But that's part of the reason why we sell a lot of straps, right? Is that I think for me, one of it is the dials, but also I think the strap shows the most. So I wear bracelets, so you know, I have the gold bracelet. But my other thing.
The battery?
I'm just going to speak it really loudly into Mark's side. Can you hear
Is
me?
it mine? Huh?
That's okay now.
All right. Maybe I'm just like, okay. But anyway, so I mean, in terms of the strap, I always wear bracelets, and I have particularly this gold one. So a lot of the time, I find it hard to pair with stainless steel bracelets, for example. So the same question with metals, and also I think with the straps itself, when it's leather, when you have the light-colored suedes or the dark colors, and that's when it sort of gets a bit off-putting for me, when the leathers are very contrasting from the other leathers that you have on. So I tend to match it a little bit. But obviously, of course, the sporty and also the dressy ones.
Okay, let's wrap up with one question. That's a good one to end on. Why don't we do this one? Andrew Crawford's one. Is it possible to commission a pair of MTO Yohei Fukudas through the New York store? Yes, it is possible. We have fitting shoes available, and you can get a sense of your size and how the last fits, and then you can say which style you want. In fact, we do trunk shows with Yohei Fukuda, like MTO trunk shows from time to time. So he ships more styles over, and you can kind of see some of the other styles that he has in the selection. Because even MTO, other than kind of the Oxfords that are available, there are actually Darbys available. Also, we can do boots. Like I've done MTO Chelsea boots for myself. We can also do MTO jodhpurs, and we actually also do MTO loafers. But the fitting on that is a little trickier. If you speak to a salesperson, they can tell you a little bit more about it. Yohei Fukuda casual options. What do you think? What would you do if you had to do a Yohei Fukuda casual option? Probably suede Derby. Suede Derby, a good casual option.
Yeah, suede Derby. I mean, loafers, of course. Boots. Probably. I mean, I probably do a more chunkier sort of chunkier soled, maybe 5 eyelet Derby, maybe long wing. I think that would be beautiful. Made by Yohei.
The long wing Derby is really good.
Yeah.
Actually, we did do one for Jan, actually, for one of our colleagues. We made a pair for him.
Yeah.
And you should also be able to, at MTO, I need to double check, but you should also be able to specify the width of the welt. So like, whatever. So the width of the welt is this width right here between the upper and the side of the shoe. And when that's a little bit broader, then it does give the suggestion of, oh, this is like a bit more of a casual shoe.
I guess one last question though. What's the lead time for the Yohei Fukudas?
It's actually fast now. So it's 3 months. But you know, as business picks up again, it's going to be going back to the old time of like 6 months. Alrighty, should we wrap it up?
Yep, let's do it.
Folks, thank you very much for watching this live stream. I'm really sorry that it was kind of a mess in the beginning, but we ironed out the problems. And listen, it was great to be able to speak to everybody live like this. I really enjoyed it, Alan. I think we had a good time, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Cool. We'll try and do this again sometime soon because this was great. All right, thanks for watching, and thanks for Sam, our producer, for putting this all together.